Hey up guys, it's Ronnie stated and I'm excited right now and proud and I'm privileged because I'm joined by a guy who last year won the Hardmoors 160 mile and then just a few weeks ago took part in the one-off Hardmoor 200 mile and won that again. It's the man, it's the legend, it's Jerry McCulla. Thank you for doing this video with us, Jerry.
That's okay.
I put out a few weeks ago questions, so I've got a whole bunch of questions, so thanks guys for giving me those questions. If it's alright with you, I'm going to jump straight in with them because it really was amazing. It's great questions here. So the first question, how do you pace for 200 miles?
How do I pace? God.
Do you use GPS? Do you use minute per mile? Do you use
not at all. I mean, I don't really run with a watch at all. It's a lot of the pacing is going on how the body feels, but it's all the things that lead up to that: the training, the conditioning of the body, the learning of the course. The big thing, I'd say, the terrain and how you're feeling on the day, and also having things just in case something goes wrong as well. You know, you may think, I can do this section to a certain speed, but when you come to that and you can't do it, got to have a backup plan.
So I think what people intrigues runners and maybe budding ultra runners as well, or someone who's done 100 mile and looking to do a 200 mile, is the thing of on the start line, ready to run out. And how do you pace those first 100? So you're just saying completely off feel. You're not really thinking I'm going to start slower,
not at all,
or I'm going to start faster because I'm going to slow down later. You're just literally from that first step, from that first mile, off feel.
Yeah, very, very much so. Knowing that when you've got 24, 36 or 48 hours potentially or more in front of you, you know it's not a marathon and so many things can happen. So it is, when you're on the line, it's all the things that you've done beforehand to know that you've done everything possible, so that yes, you can pace yourself to all the way along.
So stay comfortable.
Very much so, yeah, because it's a long journey.
I guess that answers it. Is you just trying to stay comfortable, in the moment, really, in per mile.
Confident as well in my ability, my ability to be able to last the distance.
No, brilliant
as well.
What would you say is the single most important physical factor in training for a 200? If you could, I know it's a combination of things. Could you pick on one thing that you've done in training that has led to you performing well on both those big distances there? Yeah,
there probably is one thing, but for me, it's been following a plan. It's not only following the aspects of that plan, but sometimes I've felt that it's the things outside of the plan as well. The other things to complement the physical side. Yes, there's the specifics of the plan, the training. But for me, this year, slightly different from the 160. I've done a few extra things for the 200. Such as the biggest thing is just walking the dogs. I spent hours and hours of walking my two dogs, just up and down the Trent Valley and just finding it here, there, and everywhere. And
so you're on your feet a lot around the training. That structure as well.
Yeah, so full day at work, which is on my feet, coming home, and then obviously following a plan. Sometimes, it's quite intense speed work as well, but I've fitted in hours and hours of dog walking, making sure I'm on my feet, working tired.
So I guess in a sense that could be the answer, is if there's one physical thing, it's a dog, a walking, but I guess what you're saying is volume, lot of stuff going off together. So it's not one session or one type of session. It's the volume you're trying to put into your training is perhaps the physical component that you need to that endurance, basically.
I mean, I've been very lucky. I'm still new to ultra running, especially of certain distances, 100 miles plus. I'm learning all the time. But the one thing from the 160 to the 200 was the walking, the being on the feet, because I knew that after a certain point I would not be running. But if I conditioned my body, brought in other things, one of them would have been walking. So remaining walking helped me remain focused as well on what I wanted to achieve.
You live in a very flat area in Lincolnshire, okay?
Yeah.
How do you prepare for things like in the moors and in the hills where you run really well? Do you prepare? Do you hill train? If so, how do you do that?
Yeah, the hill training, I must admit for myself, is quite specific. I think it's seizing the moment that when I'm able to go up towards the North Yorkshire moors, I grasp that opportunity. So whatever time I'm there,
on a recce or something?
Yeah, on a recce. I know it's not time bound, but I know I've got a certain amount of time, so it's very specific, and it's just utilising the knowledge of knowing the course or the courses that I've run up in the Yorkshire moors, and getting the most out of that the hill training, not only the ascents but also the descents as well, and practicing up and down
Brilliant.
As well.
So I know the way in which you trained. I wrote the plan.
Yeah.
You tend not to run much over 20 miles, and I remember when I was planning you in that phase, it's because I know you're so busy.
Yeah.
You've not got huge amounts of time in one bout, so it was about that volume. It's about being consistent. A question was, do you not feel it would have helped you to run over 20 miles a lot? Even mentally, or it's not seemed to have affected you at all.
No, I never felt that I personally never felt a need to run over 20 miles, because of the lifestyle, and also trying to fit the training. I guess it does come down to that plan and being specific, and somebody having confidence in my ability to know that.
You didn't often run 20-mile back-to-backs either, did you?
No,
a lesser run, maybe 12 miles on the second day from that, which will surprise people.
I think probably the longest, I think it was in January of this year, after New Year's Day of doing the 30-miler, I went out that week, and the maximum I did was 70 maximum, and between January and May I never touched. I don't think I touched 70 miles again.
I don't think you did. No. I think you would do, if you was going to average what you was doing. I would say it was around 55.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah,
and I feel good personally off about 55 as well. Obviously, higher volume has been shown to work in running. It would work for some people, but I think it's just great that there you are running these 200 miles at such a great rate. Off 55 miles per week, so by doing the right things, I think that is encouraging to a lot of runners, and it's one of the reasons that I wanted to talk to you on tape as well, because when I'm getting asked questions of how do you train for something like that, and they're thinking of the mileage and the volume for a marathon and timesing it by 4, 5, 6, 7, and you don't have to do that, and you're proof of that. What do you eat? What do you drink when you're on the 200 mile?
I have trained, over the years I've tried everything from gels to tablets to everything, and pardon the phrase, it's been like my stomach has been like a washing machine at times. I've really suffered. The past two races, the largest race is the 160 and the 200. I've gone more from a sweet side to a savoury side, but I will have certain elements of carrying. I will have a sweet thing, just like sugar rush. From a personal point of view, from the 160, I trained, it was cheese sandwiches.
Really, yeah.
But after an hour, I'd had enough of them, and I went on to porridge. This year, it was, to be specific, it was Warburton's Thins, Philadelphia cream cheese.
So it's food?
Yeah, and beetroots, and sliced beetroot, smoked beetroot. There are other flavours of beetroot.
So it's not a product, it's not a gel of any sort.
No.
It is just food.
No, I didn't even take a gel this year on the 200. I was trying to keep it natural as I can. Trying to, yes, there's a protein, carbohydrates, and if you go into the science of it, yes, it's a minefield. But it's something I trained, and this year I stuck the majority of the way with natural food, and for warmth it was soup, tomato soup. That was it.
And it worked.
Yes,
so you've kind of hopefully found what works for you there.
Yeah,
and nutrition's just so specific to people, isn't it? But I'm glad you found what you got your Warburton thin slices.
Yes, there are other choices of breads and things on the market. It's not product placement.
Good stuff. Injuries.
Yes.
Have you had many? Do you get many?
Yeah.
How have you overcome that?
Injuries, yes, mainly to the hip flexor, and a couple of years ago when I was doing the 110, it was a knee. Again, I've tried to nip that in the bud, speak to specialists, especially yourself, you've worked with me on that, following specific technique, you know, from stretches that have really helped. And there has been worrying times that when I have been in a race, yes, there's little niggles, but it's knowing my body and the thought pattern and thinking, will that affect me in the long run? But dealing with it, especially early on in the training. So speaking, you know, telling who, my coach, as in yourself, you know, I've got this, can you help? And the guidance. But otherwise, I've been fairly
overall been pretty injury free, haven't you?
Yeah, but I think it's down to the training, the plan as well, and looking after my body.
So not doing excessive miles, really.
Yes,
which some people can manage.
Amazingly well. People can manage 100 miles plus a week. You know, especially in marathon season.
Yeah.
And, you know, hat off to them that can do that. I would never dream of doing
perhaps
that.
break you down.
Oh yeah.
Another great question was, do you deliberately change your stride and change the way that you run whilst on that race?
Yeah, just to go off a slight tangent, people ask me if I listen to music when I'm running. Don't listen to music. And the reason for that is that there are a lot of races now where race directors say you can't listen to music. Safety wise, that's great. But for me, in races of certain distance, on ultra distances, I want to listen to my body. So if I am struggling, you know, if I've got the music in, I can't hear my breathing. It takes me away from thinking about my gait and my feet placement as well. So yes, I will naturally change, but a lot of it is subconsciously because I'm focusing, you know, on the race in hand, and my body just is very much in tune.
You're changing to the terrain, but you're not deliberately changing the way that you run there. I got to ask, how do you train for 200? But I think that's within all that. I think you're picking up on that consistency. We've touched on your volume. We've touched on what you was eating on the race. We've touched on mileage per week being about that 55. But what's your marathon time? That was something else.
Oh God, marathon. So it's a sub 3. So it's 2 hours 49. 57 minutes, something like that. Yeah, that's done a few years ago in London.
And that's interesting, because I don't think you specifically trained hard for that, did you? Or
no, because at the time I was trained for 110. The second time I did the Hardmoors 110. So marathon training, no.
But what's interesting for me as a coach is that when I look into lead runners on these bigger stuff, and the 100 miles as well, you know where my passion lies. I love the 100 mile. You look at these guys who are winning these races, or even top 5, top 10, they tend to have strong marathon times, and so that for me is a strong indication that the speed work and the speed endurance is necessary to run longer, slower. Because you've got the gears to drop down, so that's why I had such belief in you. Is things like that marathon time. So it's great that came off there. Very lucky. I mean, a few months ago when we spoke pre Christmas, and you started to talk about a plan for the 200. You talked about keeping the speed side element, and as an athlete, I've got to have a belief. And you know, in my coach, so there's a belief there that yes, it is the right way of training, because from the 160 to 200, it's only 40 miles, but it's a huge difference when you're on your feet for that time. So so the speed training, aspects on the plan, the speed training helped massively for the 160 and 200. Mindset. So again, an intriguing area of that kind of distance, and a lot of people asking very, very similar questions of, do you have a coping strategy or a mental strategy to get you through these distances?
Yeah, very good question, and a very thought-provoking question as well. It's races of 100 plus. There's so many things that you think about, and you go over. You put all the will to right. You think about absolutely everything. The overriding thing is, for me, I know what I want to achieve. So when I'm standing on the start line, doesn't matter what distance the race is, I envisage a certain thing, and that certain thing is finishing. So for me, again, it was envisaging that I would be either walking, running, crawling, whatever, through that door in Helmsley at the sports club. So that's that is the overriding thing. There's many things that come into play, but the overriding thing on that 200 was, I'm going to do it.
Because the other thing that the guys asked was, what about when things aren't going well? When it's not going to plan. It's the same thing.
Very much so, yes. I have an amazing support crew in Bex, but when you're stuck on the top of Bloworth, a stretch between Kildale and Claybank, there's no one there. There's no one there. It's still the same. It really is. No matter what distance in the race it is, I know there's people there that will be there, and I'm quite thankful that they don't say to me pull out, because they're quite strong, and keeping me going as well. But when you're in the middle of wherever it is, it still is that I'm going to finish. I'm going to finish.
I think the word I would use was focus. Yeah. You just focused on the finish, and you just stayed and remained focused on the finish, regardless of what is actually happening.
Yeah, at that moment in time, deal with it. Know it'll pass. Just move on.
Great stuff. Another thing was people wanting to know: do you actually think? Do you think about things? Or is it just that focus? Do you get a lot of thoughts run through your mind? Yeah. Do you get doubt? Do you think you're not going to finish ever?
Yes, I'd like to think that no, I've never thought that I'm not going to finish, because I have coping mechanisms, which you've taught me.
You doubted it?
Yeah, there's no doubt I will finish, but I've never not doubted that I'll finish something. I've been in pieces, especially you've seen me and been in the same races as myself.
I've seen you in some bad ways.
Very bad ways, but I've continued. So no, I've never not doubted that I would finish. No. It's a strong comment, and it could touch if I had a piece of wood, I'd touch it for good luck, but I've never not doubted.
It's quite incredible, because I would have thought that you would have doubted it, whether you believed it or not, that you would have still had a natural thought process of, I don't know if I can make this, I don't see this is going my way to do it.
Yeah, I probably thought it's not going my way, but it's just knowing a lot of little contributing factors. It doesn't matter where I am on the course and if I'm having a bad patch. And the other thing is kind of, I know we're talking about mindset, but it's also knowing the course as well, knowing what's in front of me as well.
It's mental preparation, definitely would come within mindset.
And it helps massively. Even if you've got to climb the Three Sisters and Wayne Stones and going into, I know that terrain. Yeah, it's tough. I'm feeling down. Just carry on. One foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other.
And staying just present in what you're doing.
Yes, yeah.
And the other questions are along very similar lines to this as well. And I think this is probably coming from more people that are wanting to get into ultras, is this almost fear of being alone for such a long spell of time, perhaps. And then on a 200 mile, that was, you must have been alone most of it, other than seeing your crew.
Yeah, I think it was at 40 miles. From 40 miles, the race changed dramatically at Millington. Beautiful village. Nice steep climb out of it as well. At 40 miles, the race changed for me, because there was a race in front. No. There was two gentlemen, two athletes in front of me. Right. I only knew about one because I caught him up a few miles later, because he was about to go wrong, but I helped him out. But from that moment on, because I'd previously been in races on my own for long periods, as in the 160. It was that it's self-taught. It's been
I
in
think
that
it was
moment.
alone for about 130 miles on the 160.
Probably
about.
Yeah.
You feel okay with that?
Yeah, very, very much so. Ultra running it's a very solitary sport. You're on your own. You're training on your own. It's early in the morning, late at night, stupid hours of the day. So you do a lot of things on your own. So that in the training, what you do in the training massively helps when you're in the race as well. So no, I'm at peace with myself when I'm out there. I switch off and I just focus on what I need to do.
So if somebody was then to say, because I think what they're thinking is, I'm not at peace with myself,
Okay.
I'm not happy with being alone.
Yeah.
Is there any advice you could give to them to kind of say, how you mentioned training, by training alone you got better, but is there anything you could say to them which would improve their ability and remove the fear as well, really, of being alone for such a long time?
It's it's having that confidence in your abilities, knowing the course as well, learning the course, knowing that you will come in contact with people again. In ultra racing, you spread out very quickly, and you might not see assault for a long time. Yes, you'll see people at checkpoints, and just draw on that when you go into a checkpoint. See those amazing marshals; they will lift you up, and they'll carry you to the next checkpoint as well. When you'll see somebody,
it's kind of difficult. Lead guys are alone. Back guys alone. It's kind of mid-pack. You'll often be with people, but if someone like yourself out there in the lead, you are alone. I think another big thing on the mindset was people wanting to know, have you ever lost your motivation, your running mojo as such? Like, have you ever thought, I don't want to train, I don't want to go out running?
In the training side, yes, at times I have thought, but I thought, no, get out. A freezing cold January the 4th at 6 o'clock in the morning it's not great.
I think it'd be normal to kind of feel like you didn't want to do it. So how did you do it?
It's just I've got an end goal that I want to do. I've put myself into it. I've put money towards it. I'm investing time. And people are investing, even though it's for myself, there's people being invested in what I'm doing. It's just knowing that I've got to go through the motions, because in races of that distance, you're not going to have beautiful weather all the time. So train and do everything you can in the training, from the mindset, the focus, going through the ups and downs, through checking of the kit, testing of your kit, especially your trainers, food, hydration, and it's on those days that, as I say, on a cold, wet or frosty morning in the middle of January, when your race isn't until May, because when you come to that race and it happens and the weather conditions are like that, you can just reflect back, yes, I got up, I did it.
So I kind of think there's two things you mentioned in there, really. In one sense, it's you're looking at the big want, big goal, to get away from the little wants, which might be to lie in bed and keep warm. So you're always focusing on the bigger goal and not just how you feel in that moment, because you know that you must train if you want that bigger goal. And then secondly, there's a lot of acceptance and also using conditions where you might not want to do it, or it's not great weather, or you don't feel the best that you could be, and using that for the training as well. So instead of resisting that, actually saying again, well, you know what, this is good training, and in putting a positive spin on that.
Very, very, very much so.
Good stuff. Once someone asked, you're so calm, you're so humble, do you ever get angry? I was very interested in this as well. Like, could I make you angry? What gets you angry?
I think it's because I think Bex, we'd need Bex here. She would tell you it's always the ones you love.
She would spill the beans on that one.
Yeah, it's always the ones.
So you do get angry?
I get agitated. Yeah, I do get agitated, but I try and turn it around and just think that I'm so lucky to be able to do, because I'm not even part of 1% of the country that's doing what we do. How lucky. So
because I've never seen you snap even in really, really bad conditions, and I've still never seen you get angry at things, whereas most of us, including myself, have got grumpy. So I've got better as I've done more and more, I think. But yeah,
as I say, when you're running between Kildare and Claybank, and you're in the moors, I mean the true moors and blowers, and you're on your own, that's when you can be angry with yourself. You can swear and everything. Not that I would do, but then we are so lucky to be doing it. So yeah, I get agitated. I really do. Yeah, but no, just have to snap out and think.
But you're grateful.
Yes, so extremely. I've got the absolute. It's a pleasure for me to be doing what we do. It's the people, the support crew around you, the marshals, the race direct. The other ones that are looking after you. I've got the best bit.
Another question was, did you always feel at school and growing up? Did you always run? Did you always think that you was going to want to run in later life?
No, I mean I was okay at cross country at school, but I left home early and I went into the catering profession, and the hours didn't suit, and I didn't, from the age of 18 to, it wasn't until about 34, 35, I hardly did any exercise.
Right, well that's why I asked, because I wasn't sure on that, to be honest, and it's, again, I would say that as encouraging, and this is why I wanted to speak to you again, and capture it for those guys, because I think you haven't run since an early age to now to get to this thing. You're saying like
till
34.
34.
And you are now
41.
41.
Yeah.
So kind of 6 or so years you've progressed to that level, and it's incredible. But it's a familiar story that comes my way, and the other guys that I'm coaching as well are quite often can be people that I've not only been not active but abuse their body in certain ways, so they turn in the corner with that, and they still be able to come and perform at great levels. So I think that inspires people, and that was another question actually, which brings me on to nicely, is someone said that it makes them feel really good if they inspire somebody. Yet, you inspire hundreds of people, and people watch that dot, or people know of you now and your performance, and you're not on social media, you're not a public figure at all, but yet you still inspire people, and myself included. How's that feel for you? And the word legend being thrown at you as well, I call you a legend all the time.
For me, when you're a legend, it's the people that you see, the professionals, because we're just amateurs, aren't we? We aren't professionals. It's very hard to comprehend. I think in some ways, because I'm just very grounded, I enjoy what I do and everything. And you say I'm not on social media, so I don't see all the things that come with it. I'm very grateful for if I can inspire someone. The conversations I have with people are always encouraging as well, and I just don't try to think too much about it. I'm just very, very grateful what I can do.
You just do what you're doing.
I do what I do, and if somebody comes and asks me a question, and if I know it, I'll answer, or I'll point them in the right direction.
Good man.
Yeah.
And in terms of race preparation, do you create exact plans, or do you just go with how you feel on the day? A lot of ultra runners now are setting exact time plans and plan A, plan B, plan C, which it can be great stuff again for that visualization you mentioned. Do you do that?
I'm just going to go back to when I first started. So 2013 I did my first ever ultra, the Hardmoors 55. So I jumped from a marathon to doing the Hardmoors 55. Didn't know what I was letting myself in for. Myself, you and a few other friends turned up in Gisborough on a very cold March day.
Oh, snowing,
Didn't know what, there was no plan. And for the corresponding years there wasn't really any plans, and then all of a sudden I jumped from the Hardmoors 60 to the 110, signed up, panicked a bit. I thought, I need to do something here, because I can always remember having a real good conversation with yourself, saying, look, and you said to me, look, Jerry, on a 100 miler, when you're 80, you know you've only got 20 miles left. But when you're doing the 110, when you're 80, you've got 30 miles left. So you've really got to think about it. And I can remember just pulling off a training plan from the internet. I followed it. The first 110, I was a mess. I finished. I'm fairly brave. And then the second year, I used the same plan again. I just did a bit more, and then
got a similar result. Finished, but hard work.
Yeah, very hard work. And then probably one of the best things that happened was for my 40th birthday, Bex bought me a coach. Yeah, invested in.
She didn't wrap me up or anything.
No, you didn't jump out of cake and singing. So she invested in a coach for me, and October 2015, and that was an absolute turning point. So since then, I've not looked back, because it's been specific to me. Things have been adapted to what I do, or what I can do and what I can't do as well. So since 2015, the two plans that I've had for the last two major races. But there again, taken into last year, I did the Grand Slam as well. And that plan helped me carry on for the other races as well. It wasn't just for the 160.
Yeah.
It helped me from January all the way through to September, even though the A race was May of last year.
The ironic thing is that I do actually plan you a little less volume than a lot of the other guys, because of your lifestyle and how busy you are. But we made that work. But it's very kind of you to say, the coaching was the turning point, because from my perspective, obviously you do all the work, and this is it's nice to hear that. But from my perspective, I do a very, very easy bit of the planning. For you to go out and do that's where the magic happens.
Yeah.
So that's credit to yourself there. The last question is, what's next? People want to know what do you want to do?
What do I want to do? Obviously, I've got a little something for next year. But my next true race is in October. The Round Robin. I don't often tell people about what races I'm doing, because I keep it within. I just carry on training. But it'll be October. October is my next.
Is there a real long-term plan of a race you would like to do?
There isn't. No, there isn't, because I enjoy what I do. I enjoy being able to get out. I don't want to hammer my body. I want to be doing this for years and years to come. I want to keep running. I want to find more trails.
Enjoy the process. You enjoy the journey, not really the event.
I don't feel that I've got to overload things and rush things. These races will be here for years and years to come. And what's the point in spoiling and over racing?
It's great to hear it, because I think, in all honesty, what you're saying there is you do it for the love of doing it. And it's as pure and as simple as that.
Yeah.
So, Jerry, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much. Thank you.